This week we read Parshas Vayakhel and Parshas Pekudei. And most of Parshas Vayakhel and Parshas Pekudei are basically a word-for-word repetition of Parshas Truma and Tetzaveh. Just in those parashios, Hashem commanded the Jewish people to make the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and all the kelim, all the vessels that went in, and the clothes that the Kohanim wore. And in this week's parashios, we read about how they actually did it. Except instead of doing what we would have probably done, which is just a rite, and the Jewish people did everything that they were supposed to, the Torah goes through and repeats every single detail of how it was made. And it says, I built the Aron in this way, and it was this dimension, and it has these details, and the Shulchan, and the Menorah, and it goes through every single thing and repeats every single detail. Why is that necessary? But I think maybe the lesson that the Torah is teaching us is that if you stop and think about it for a moment, how are the Jewish people able to pull this off? How are the Jewish people able to make all these kelim, all these vessels, all these clothes with such intricate details? They needed to be master craftsmen. And how could they have been master craftsmen? They just spent a couple hundred years in Egypt. Maybe they knew how to make bricks. If the Mishkan was just made out of bricks, maybe that they would know how to do. But working with gold and working with copper and working with silver and precious stones and weaving in very intricate ways, how were the Jewish people able to pull that off? And in case you would think that they didn't pull it off, no. The Torah is going to go through every detail, exactly how they were supposed to do it, with all the details that Hashem gave. They did exactly that. They pulled it off. They were able to do that. And I think the answer can be found in the Torah's description of these men. The Torah calls them Chachmei Lev, wise-hearted men. Wise-hearted men. They didn't need to be wise in their hearts. They need to be wise in their brains. They needed the skills to pull this off. The answer is no. They need to be wise in their hearts. They needed to know how to have the cheshek, the desire, to serve Hashem. They needed to have that burning desire just to do Hashem's will. And although they may have had no previous experience doing the crafts that they were about to do, if they were wise-hearted, if they knew how to say to Hashem, you want me to do something and I want to do it, so please help me, then they were going to be successful. Hashem would automatically grant them that knowledge. Sometimes in life we are faced with what we feel like is an impossible situation. We don't know how to do what we need to do to get out of this situation. But instead of trying to be wise in our brains, maybe we should be Chachmei Lev. We should be wise in our hearts. We should feel in our hearts that burning desire to serve Hashem. We should feel in our hearts that burning desire to do what Hashem wants from us. And if we could do that, if we can be Chachmei Lev, then we'll be able to pull off what we thought was the impossible. Have a great, great Shabbos.